Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Minecraft Archive. I'm Jared3118 and this is Episode 10. And in this episode we are going to be building a memorial garden. But before we get started on that, I want to show you guys some changes I made. Many of my viewers pointed out that the light was shining through the two doors that were here to enter the monster spawner room. And that light was therefore causing monsters not to be able to spawn in this area near the door. So many of you suggested to build a piston doorway. And there we go. Just used 4 sticky pistons. And by flipping this lever up and down, I can open and close that. And then when I turn the lights off, this light will no longer shine into that room once I close the door. So there we go. Thank you for that suggestion. Another thing I wanted to talk about, many of you suggested at the bottom of the monster trap, I should build some type of piston like doorway that would allow the mobs to continue to a room with like basically lava that would fully kill them. They would not require me to hit them with a sword or with my fist. They would just die and then they would drop their items. That would be great for, when you're going away from your computer and you just need to collect items. So yes, I will probably do something like that. I actually should have mentioned that in the last episode because I did already have that idea, but many thanks to all my viewers who did suggest that. Okay, so this episode is going to be about a memorial garden, and this memorial garden is going to be built all the way around the outside of the tower. As you can see, I've got this kind of platform. It's just 1 block tall. And it just goes all the way around the tower. And I've laid some blocks here to mark where I want to plant trees. And it's just going to be a nice kind of peaceful garden area. And instead of having the tower come straight up through the ocean, going to have some trees and stuff around the tower. But you might be wondering, why is it called a memorial garden? And one of my viewers contacted me this week. And his name's Jordan. He goes by the YouTube username The Broken Penguin. And Jordan let me know that one of my viewers, who is his good friend, is named Scott. And Scott's father recently passed away, and I guess it's, obviously been very tough on Scott. And he's going through a bit of a tough time. So I wanted to let Scott know, since, he's a viewer of my series, that my thoughts and my prayers are with him. And I wanted to do something very special for Scott. And to remember his father. So this memorial garden is going to be named Brian's Memorial Garden, and Brian was Scott's father. And I just want to do a really good job and, make this look very peaceful and scenic around the tower, and then dedicate it to Scott's dad, Brian. So I hope you, too, enjoy the episode. And Jordan also let me know that Ryan, one of their good friends, was also really affected by what happened. So Ryan goes by the username NinjaRai. So the garden is dedicated to all 3 of you. I want to thank you guys for being a few of my viewers and for liking my series. So I hope this somewhat helps you guys through your tough time, and I hope it turns out good. So let's go ahead and get started here. I've packed up some materials. I've got some leaves that I used shears to get from a tree. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see how this looks. I'm going to kind of trace the outline of the tower. I'm going to do all 4 sides now. Okay, I am back, and thankfully it is daytime now, and it has stopped raining. And you can see how these kind of hedges turned out. I really like the look of that, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Also, you probably did notice I now have 4 entryways into the bottom of the tower. But I was thinking this entryway will probably not work right here, because the piston elevator will start just below this floor here, and it'll go all the way up to the top of the tower. So I haven't started working on the piston elevator yet, so I'm going to probably not do a whole lot to this area here because I know it's going to eventually be destroyed. And just to give you guys some ideas of what I'm planning, there's going to be a lot more than just the tower in this area. And I know I said I was going to build a tree house in this season and also some floating islands, and I will get to that eventually. But I'm really liking how this tower has turned out, and I just have some ideas I'd really like to do. And one thing is to build some biodomes over the water here, and basically you would have walkways that go from the tower to like the biodomes, and there might be like a greenhouse out here on the ocean where I can plant a bunch of trees, not birch trees, but regular trees. So I just got some ideas of eventually expanding out onto that ocean there and building these kind of platforms. Also, you may be wondering how I got the grass here. All I simply did was built a kind of dirt walkway that went from the dirt here to the dirt over here, and also to that hill over here, and eventually that grass slowly spread, and then once it hit this area, it just took off. Okay, so for the next part of this memorial garden, this is actually going to be a water fountain, so I need to clean this up a little bit and replace this dirt with some stone. Okay, now I am going to replace this grass here with stone, but before I do that, I just got to thinking about something. I'd like to plant 2 cherry blossom trees, and essentially you have to make cherry blossom trees in Minecraft, but they require pink wool, and I've got the wool from the string that I've been collecting from spiders, and I've got the sheep farm that we saw in a previous episode. But basically what I'm going to need to do is take bone meal, click in this area here, and see, there we go, there's a red flower. And so what I can do now is put water in that corner there, and now I can collect the items. So I'm now up to 3 flowers, and I'm going to just do that again. Alright, that time we got yellow flowers, no big deal. But I'm just going to do this over and over again until, let's see, I get to about 30 red flowers. And once I have 30 red flowers, I can turn that into red ink, combine that with the bone meal, and make pink dye. And then that pink dye I can use to dye the wool. So I'm going to need probably about anywhere from 60 to 80 pieces of pink wool to make the 2 cherry blossom trees. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Alright, I am back, and I ended up getting 20 red flowers. It took forever, but I finally got them. And I went and I grabbed 80 pieces of brown wool. So we'll use those 20 flowers and some bone meal to dye all that wool pink. But before we do that, let's go ahead and build the fountain now. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, we want it to be a few blocks taller than that. So 1, 2, 3. Going to build a platform here. Okay, and I need some infinite water. And the easiest way to do that is just to build something like this. Grab your 2 buckets of water. And there we go, we have infinite water. Okay, let's climb up here. Place water like so. And there we go. We got a nice looking water fountain. Let's make sure it's not too tall. Nope, that looks just fine. Let's see what it looks like from indoors. Ah, yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so now we can destroy this dirt and the water will stay where it is. Alright, and I'm going to place a sign here on this fountain. And this memorial garden is dedicated to Brian. So Brian's Memorial Garden. So there we go. Alright, let's continue building this. Eventually I'm going to have a stone slab walkway going all the way around the building. We can get rid of our infinite water pool now. Okay, so let's make that pink wool now. We're going to take the 20 red roses and turn it into 40 rose red, which is basically red dye. And we're just going to combine that with the bone meal, and it turns into 2 pink dye. So grab all 80 of these. And let's go ahead and dye that wool. So stack this up like so. Oh, maybe it has to be white wool. Interesting. Let me go see. Oh, actually, you know what? I could use that bone meal to bleach the wool, I believe. No, it does not work that way. Okay, so let me go down and get some white wool, and let's see if I can use it. Okay, I checked in the storage room, and I only had a few pieces of white wool, so I have headed over to our sheep farm. And I was trying to dye the brown wool using this bone meal. I was trying to basically bleach it, and it wasn't working. I was mistaken. You can't bleach colored wool, but you can bleach sheep and make them just pure white. But before we do that, I wanted to point out I did change the texture for flowers, and instead of having just one flower, you probably noticed this earlier when I was gathering the red flowers to make the dye, it's like a group of flowers. So I really like how that looks, and then as I came over here to the sheep farm, I saw this kind of field of flowers, and I really like how that looks. So I will try to remember to update the texture pack. I know I said that last time, but I've updated the texture pack to 1.1. I've updated the files, so I will do my best to remember to update the texture pack on my channel. So what you're basically going to do here is just right click on a sheep with the bone meal, and I'm just going to dye all these. Oh, did not mean to do that. You guys help me eat that grass so it goes away. But there's no sense of having colored sheep. We can easily make the dye to dye the wool. So make all these sheep white. Trying to get that guy in the back. Ugh, got him. And one more. Okay, you are all white. And now I'm just going to sit here and shear these sheep until... Oh, ooh, sneaky. Almost got by. Okay, I'm going to gather 80 pieces of white wool so that I can make pink wool, and I will be right back. Okay, I've gathered over 80 pieces of white wool, so now we can actually dye this. And we probably got a little bit more than we actually need, but that's okay. Alright, so before we start creating the cherry blossom trees, let's go ahead and create the normal trees. And on all the sides that are opposite of the fountain, we are going to have just regular trees. And they're going to go here. And not the greatest looking tree. I'd like for it to be a little bit taller. Might replant some of these later, but that'll do for now. Ah, there we go. That is a very nice tree. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just take a look at how these trees are made, and I want to duplicate one of them into a cherry blossom tree. So, you know, I like this tree a lot. So we're going to go ahead and make a cherry blossom tree out of this. So we're just going to copy the design. As we can see, we have 3 pieces of wood. So we need some birch wood. And I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now for the actual pink kind of flower part of it, we're going to take a look at this bottom part here. So we have 2 blocks looks like in every direction. Oh, nope, except for this side here. We don't have one there or one here. Or in this corner here. So 1, 2, 3 corners do not have a block. So I'm going to climb up here. And I'm going to do, this can just be a piece of dirt because we won't see this part here. And it was 1, 2 in every direction. Except for 3 of the corners were not filled in. So I'm going to fill in that one. And I don't need to fill in any of these other corners. And there we go. So hopefully you see what I'm doing. I'm just basically copying the design of another tree in Minecraft. So I'm just going to keep going back and forth. And right now it looks like a mushroom, a really funky mushroom. But I'm just going to go back and forth, take a look at the next layer, duplicate it, and then I'm going to duplicate that tree on the other side of the water fountain. We'll have a couple cherry blossom trees. I will be right back once it's all finished. Okay, the 2 cherry blossom trees are done, and now I'm just going to kind of go around to each tree and put a little border around it like that. Okay, so the area is starting to come along nicely, but I need a little walkway to kind of walk through this garden type area. So what I'm going to do now is go make a lot of stone slabs. And I'm just going to build a walkway very similar to this, but just 2 blocks wide going all the way around the tower. So I'll show you what that looks like once it is all done. Okay, I have finished the walkway that goes all the way around the edge of the tower. And for this next step, what I'd like to do is take a couple wooden stairs, put them on these grass blocks that I have here, and just make a couple benches so that you can sit and enjoy the lovely view from over here and the cherry blossom trees. Okay, the benches are done, but we have one problem. It's a little dark in some areas of this grass platform. And what we're going to do is we're going to build some light posts to make it so monsters cannot spawn here. So pretty simple, we're going to stack 3 fence posts on top of each other, place a glowstone block on top, and put a trap door on each side. And then you close the trap doors. And so when it's finished, it looks like that. And we're just going to do this all the way around the tower. Okay, so the light posts are all done. We still have a few dark spots back here in the corner, so I'm just going to place a torch in each corner. And then our final thing that we're going to want to do is get out our bone meal. And we want to plant some grass and some flowers all over this place. So I'm just going to... Oh, that wolf's in the way. Come here, buddy. Come here, boy. Alright, sit. There we go. I'm just going to right-click out here. And there we go. And just place like another one here. And here. Okay, so the memorial garden is all finished. Let's take a quick tour of it at daytime. Got our light posts, all our trees, our cherry blossom trees, some benches, nice little water fountain, and I've went through and planted all the grass and flowers. Now I'll probably, in between episodes, go through and kind of thin out some of this grass so it's not so wild and so that you can see the flowers a little bit better. And then I'll probably go and try to make all the trees more consistent in size, because on this side we have one really short tree and then one really tall tree. But it's pretty much all finished. Let's see what it looks like from a distance. And again, this entire memorial garden is dedicated to Brian, and my thoughts and prayers continue to be with Scott and with Jordan and with Ryan. I hope for the best for you guys through this, very difficult time. But there we go. There it is from this side. And this side's not really good because that tree's just so tall. It's blocking a lot of the view. But let's go ahead and swim out here and take a look at the good side with the water fountain and the cherry blossom trees. And it just looks a lot more peaceful, and it's got more elements of nature now. I really like the trees there. It was just this massive tower just coming straight out of the ocean. It looked pretty cool, and we can still see the bottom part there, but I really like the trees and like the light post. I think it looks really nice. So there we go, and actually the moon is coming out now, so it's going to be nighttime here in just a bit, and I'll show you guys what it looks like at nighttime once it gets a little bit darker. Okay, so here we go. Actually, one thing I was thinking about is if I place some glowstone here at the bottom of this water fountain, it might look pretty cool. There we go, lights that up a little bit more, and of course our light post helped light up the area. There's still some areas I'm a little concerned about that are a little dark, so I'll probably do something like go around to the trees once they're all consistent in size and just add some torches like that, just to make sure no monsters spawn down here, because we'd hate for them to blow up parts of the tower. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you later.